Hi guys, I'm Mildred with Dredzymakesmandalas. If you want to learn how I made this rainbow mandala, stick around. So this is what I typically do before I start painting. I set up my workstation like this, that way I can avoid any paint getting around on my table and it's just a hot mess. So I do this to protect everything around me. I do use a paper plate at the top so I have more control of the canvas. For today, we'll be using the 5x5 canvas from Master's Touch. I got this at my local Michael's. So today we'll be using the Craftsmart acrylic paint in black. So I'm going to use this to paint our background, and I'll be using just one color just to keep everything pretty easy and simple. That way if I mess up on a dot or anything, I can go back and correct it using just the same background paint. Here I went over the background twice, and you want to make sure that it's completely dry before you start any markings or any paintings. So because this is a 5x5 canvas, we'll be measuring out 2.5 at the top and at the bottom. Now that we have our canvas measured, let's go ahead and start painting. And I'll have the description of each paint that I'm using today down at the description box. For today's tools, I'll be using the set from DIY Mandala Stones, as well as my embossing styluses that I got from Michael's. For the center dot, I'll be using this yellow here with the tool number 10 on the DIY Mandala Stones tool set. And what you want to do when using these tools, you want to add the least amount of pressure to get the perfect circle. If for some reason you do add a lot of pressure, you'll be ending up with an uneven circle and your paint will spread out. So what I'm showing you here is the medium tool from my enamel stylus set. What I'm going to do is make 4 dots surrounding my center circle all the way around. And how you do that, you begin with north, south, east, and west dots. And then you want to fill that in between each point. Then I'm changing up the tool. I'm going with the smallest one, and I'm adding a small dot in between all the bigger dots that we just added. So now that we've created our first row, what you want to do is go in with the red, and we'll be making our second set of dots in between the big and small dots. Now that you have your first red dots created, what you want to do is using the same red and going up another size, you'll be filling in that space between the first set of red dots that you created. And you want to do that all the way around your mandala. And now here what I'm doing again is going up another size, and now for our third row we'll be filling in that same space of the red dots we previously made. Now using my smallest styling tool, what I'm doing is creating 2 small dots in between the larger red dots we just made. Going in with my orange, what I'm doing is placing dots all around the 2 dots that I just made. And now going up another size, I'm filling in that space again and right on top of the bigger red dots. And now what we're doing is walking the dots across each of the larger orange dots we made. And you'll see this creates sort of a petal effect on our mandala. And here I'm giving you a close-up of what walking the dots will look like. You'll be getting a lot of experience walking the dots with this design. And if you ever felt intimidated on using this technique, it's a good practice. And what I'm doing here is walking the dots with the yellow paint, and I'll be creating of a star shaped all around. Now going in up a size, I'm making a yellow dot at the top of each petal. And now what you're going to be doing is walking out your dots on the yellow row. Now going up a size, we'll be adding a green dot at the top of each yellow row. And here we'll be having some fun. What I'm doing is showing you how I'm spreading out the dot, kind of like a feathering or a swoosh. Here, the more paint that you add, the larger the swoosh you'll get. And we'll be adding each of the swooshes or the feathers in between the green dots that we created, filling in the space. What you want to do is add a yellow dot at the top of each large circle, creating a floral effect. Now going in with the blue, we'll be adding some dots at the ends of each of the feathers you created. Now going up a size, you'll be making a larger circle in between the yellow petals, and here again we'll be walking the dots all around. Here I made a darker shade of blue and I'm walking the dots. Now with the same dark blue shade, what you want to do is create a large dot at the top of each of the small yellow dots we made. Here what you want to do is walk the dots. For the tips of the petal, I'm using the darker shade of blue, and for each side I'm using the lighter blue. And now you'll be walking the dots again using the same method, alternating between the darker blue and lighter blue. And now what I'm showing you is where we will be walking the dots for our third row. Now going in with our purple shade, we'll be placing a larger dot, skipping one petal each way around. And now here what I'm doing is just adding a pop of color between each petal. Now going up a size, I'm adding a darker purple, and following that I'm making lighter purple dots on each side of that, then adding a silver dot, and I'm walking a purple shade on top of each silver dot. Now what you can see are the different set of walking dots that I made at each petal. We also filled in the space with the same technique that we used for our green dots. And here's our almost completed look. All we have to do is add some fun top dots. As you see here, I'm going in with a lighter shade, and we're doing that all around our mandala. Now to finish this, I'm just going to be adding some rhinestones. You can completely skip this step. The mandala looks beautiful just as is, but it's just my preference. And here's the final look with all the rhinestones. And if you enjoyed this tutorial, please give me a thumbs up or write a comment down below. I want to thank you guys for tuning in. Until next time.